day 5. Today we're going to go learn about some biofuels and also go to sites. Fit check.
First thing we did was go to an English class and talk to some kids outside.
So we went to the English classes today and the students looked like they did not care.
Yeah, I didn't think they would care much about gun policy in America, which is what we talked about.
I really like small children. I honestly wish we'd spend more time with them. They're kind of bob.
Yeah, I like the small children better than the bigger children because they actually wanted to speak to you.
And the small children spoke very basic German, so we could talk to them easily. So the first thing that we really did today was go to an English class. It was 10th grade, and there wasn't a ton of structure to the class, so we kind of just talked about different things in America and spoken English. The students, to be honest, didn't seem that into it, but a couple of them did have questions, and the questions were really interesting. They asked actually about weapons in America, education in America, food in America, which I think brings up some stereotypes about Americans that, everybody has guns and, is obese and not well educated. But I think it's important that they were asking these questions because they were trying to kind of decide if those stereotypes that they'd heard were true or what was different. I appreciate that their students are willing to take a step back and, kind of fact check the things that they've heard and kind of see how Americans actually feel about those ideas. From there, we went into a classroom where we were going to cook with the Club of Rome students, and while we waited, Cecilia wrote us a little bit of excerpt of Tolstoy.
I can't say. You see, my friend, last night I was reading the Gospels about our dear Lord Christ and how he suffered and walked this earth.
So basically, the Club of Rome is a group of students that are focused on learning about sustainability. And so we met 3 of those students today in my group, the potato group. We had Hilda, and it was really interesting to kind of hear about why they chose the foods that we did today. So we made a almost vegan but fully vegetarian meal, and the food was also all food that was in season and most of it grown within Germany, so it was sustainable in that it didn't travel as far. It was interesting to see how they implemented sustainability into their everyday lives, especially when it came to food, and it was interesting to hear about their thought process behind why they picked the different foods that they did.
Put in those potatoes. Look at that. Broccoli, zucchini. I love zucchini. Is there plate? There are potatoes. Looking good.
Are you gonna lead the question? Do you like me to lead?
Oh, you can lead. You can lead.
Hello. Exchange. What do we just do right now? We just...
8.
Dr. Page, you some potato wedges. Let my cat eat.
That's nice.
What would you rate this scale? It's like cream cheese altogether.
Before you get too far, I would like to step back a bit and talk about the preparation process.
Oh, okay.
My host one dropped half of her grilled brie, and the cat came up and took it. Oh yeah, they ate the entire thing. I was like, the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Well, they're vegan as well.
You getting this?
Vegan. And then we made everything from scratch.
Okay, lovely. Was it like a group effort?
Oh, and then one of their cats was eating a bird.
Oh, yeah.
We
worked
let it
hard as a
happen.
team.
I was like, go
So if
save
you had to
that
say there
bird.
was one part of the meal that was what part was
I feel like potatoes are really hard to mess up.
Yeah, I would say potatoes are kind of hard to mess up. But
So are my shirt.
Okay, fair enough.
So, again, on a scale of 1 to 10.
The entire course.
Yeah.
About a 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah. Wasn't too crazy.
Maybe a 6.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Six.
Good. From there, we hopped on the bus that was driven by the school principal and headed into Zeitz.
On the bus, on the way to Zeitz. Yeah.
Roxanne.
All she wanted to do is party,
I'm always down for a scenic view with Little Windmill in the background.
The first thing that we saw was St. Michael's Church, and Norman, who's the teacher at the school, is a member of the church, so he was able to show us around and tell us a little bit about it. So the church was originally, the first records of it are in the 1200s, so it's very old, but it was recently renovated, so it looks really nice and new. It used to be really dark in the church, but now it's all white, and so it's a Lutheran church, and it had a picture of a copy of the theses, and we also got to see the organ and play a little bit. You can hear that here.
And here you can see the pipes behind the organ.
And then we went on a little walk and saw the castle and sights, which is really cool. I love a castle moment.
It's also funny to me that the other German students didn't even feel a need to go see the castle because they see it all the time.
Do you feel like an explorer? Because I kind of feel like an explorer when I...
It was really cool to get to look around Zeitz and see the sights. Ha ha ha.
Cecilia, thoughts on castles?
Want to live in one.
Yeah.
Would even marry a Kennedy to accomplish this goal.
Respect. Catch some curse hands.
Here you can see the orangery and also the building of a different house in Zeitz using the wood planks that we see special to German designs.
Next, we did one of my favorite things I've ever done, which is see the underground Zeitz. So there's about 9,000 meters of tunnels underneath Zeitz that connect the houses to each other. And they were used to store beer in the medieval ages originally. Then they were used to kind of hide from invaders. And then they were also reopened after they've been closed for World War II, and they were used as bomb shelters. And there was many buildings where we're able to see, you know, the rooms, the cellars that the beer was originally kept in, and then go down to the lower level and see the tunnels that connected it. I can't imagine how dark it would be under there without any electricity that we had. And I have no idea how they would find their way. It was really interesting because it's one of the only places in the world that there's like tunnels like this, and especially one as extensive. And it was really cool to hear about the ways in which it was able to be used throughout different periods of history. My favorite geographer, Doreen Massey, she studies places and their histories and the way that we kind of interpret those histories in regards to place. And it was really interesting to think about some of her essays and how that connected to the history of the place that we were in, and being able to see the way that the place has changed and used, and also kind of seeing the old bricks next to the old limestone next to the new bricks and concrete that were used to either replace things or to build up doors to block off entrances. I also really like the detail about the bank and building the bank over top, and I think that would really make a good heist novel if anyone is looking to write one. It was so cool. Once again, I got to wear a good outfit, so I love that. Once again, I've been placed in a killer outfit.
So here we are in the tunnels after having gone 12 feet down and then gone 3 levels and come back up to the surface. I really enjoyed this experience and being able to see the history of the city this way.
We then went and got ice cream. Then we went back to Maya's house, and after a little homework break, we met up for dinner again. It was really nice. I was able to sit with her and her mother. Her mother's English is a little worse than my German, maybe. So we kind of haven't been able to talk very much, but we were able to kind of like slow down, be able to speak to each other a little more tonight, which is really a good time. Turns out both of our mothers are seamstresses, so that was really cool. Maya and I were able to talk for a really long time about different things in America and in Germany, especially she had a lot of questions about race in America and kind of the conversations about that. We both are really frustrated with the way in which things are currently, but it was interesting to hear about how she's frustrated with those same things in Germany and in America. She also had some questions. She's a really big fan of Grey's Anatomy, so she had a lot of questions about like medicine in America. And I was telling her about, you know, health insurance and how expensive things are. I told her my arm, I have insurance and it still cost over $3,000 for them to like fix my arm, and she was shocked. And I was like, I told her how much it would probably be if you didn't have insurance, and she was like, that's insane. So it's interesting to kind of talk about those things and politics in America, like in the news that she gets here, and versus what, you know, happens in America that she doesn't necessarily hear about. So yeah, it was really good to talk to her, and we also just talked about, you know, fun girl stuff for a while. So yeah, it was really great. I feel like we're really, you know, become good friends in this time, so I'm really grateful for the friendship of her and her family. Her mom and her were telling me that if I ever come back to Germany, I have to come visit. So yes, I'm excited to see her, you know, that she's gonna come again in October, and we're gonna get to hang out there, and hopefully I'll come back to Germany and get to see them. So yeah, that's the end of day 5. One of my favorite days so far. It was really fun, and yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully the bike ride goes okay with my arm. But yeah, and I have the 360 camera today, so I'll add some pictures at the end.